The last section I want to talk about very briefly is money mindset. So I mentioned it at the beginning, what are the words and the connotations and the beliefs that we hold around talking about being rich and just talking about money in general, and how often we stray away, push it away, don't want to engage in that conversation because we find it difficult or hard, or we don't feel knowledgeable enough. Now, and I'm saying all of this from my experience, okay? I know it to be true. I know it affects pretty much everybody. And I'm talking very much about kind of how I have strayed away. Like, I have pushed money away. Like, I've been scared about talking about it. I felt ashamed for saying things like, I am going to be rich, or I am rich, or I've got a one-way ticket to being rich. Like, I have worked so hard, and I am continuing to work so hard on my money mindset, because we've talked about how your mindset is the most powerful muscle that we have, right? And we've talked about that narrative. So think back to lesson 1 when we talked about I am statements and how we wanted to change the narrative in our brain about what it was telling us. Now, we talked about being like, I am strong, I am brave, I am worthy, I am enough. All of that stuff, which is fantastic. But it's the same principle with money. Like, if we have an issue with money, and if in our head the narrative is that being rich is ugly, it's vulgar, it's mean, you'll turn into a psycho, your friends will hate you, your family will reject you, all of these things. And quite often that's what happens. We create these beliefs that we will be judged for our money. And we may well be, but you can do so much good with money as well. And we often don't think about that. So we have to work on changing that narrative. We have to work on changing that money mindset that we have. And it all starts just by having conversations about money, just by, feeling empowered when you say the word rich, and knowing that rich isn't a negative. Rich is an amazing thing. When I am rich, I will be able to, I want to do things like send other people's children to school, like pay for them to go to school. Children that would never get that opportunity, I want to do that. I want to have a charity that we do with work. I want to, live in a beautiful house. I want to host people. I want to have people live with us. I want to give to charity. I want to kind of go and do incredible and amazing things. And I want to spend more money in the economy. And that's something that I'm really passionate about, is that economics, I did it at school, I did it at uni, and I could talk about it till the cows come home. But the importance of, when we spend money in the economy, we're actually benefiting so many other people. So when you spend money in the coffee shop, that pays the coffee bean grower, that pays the barista, that pays the owner of the coffee company, which makes profit, which pay the tax man. That money goes around and around and around, and when we put money out, more money comes towards us. So we have to change our mindset about money. We also need to think about, are we being a victim of our mindset? So do we have this kind of victim mentality about money, that we never have enough, or someone else is in control, or something like that? When we often, when people are thinking about leaving positions, they're like, oh, but I need the money. And you're like, but it puts you in a victim state, right? You don't take action. And remember what I said in lesson 2, I've said it already in this lesson, you are in total control of your life, guys. It's your choice. You have a choice how you react to that. So if you are in a job which you no longer like or love, or doesn't set your heart on fire, and you went after it for the money, then, hate to say it, but that was probably always going to be the outcome. Because when we go after the money, we're not focusing on the joy, we're not focusing on the gratitude, and we're not focusing on everything else. Right now, if you're in that job, you need to switch your mindset up, okay? You need to take control. So you need to take control of where you're going and the job that you are going to move towards. And you can do something like give your notice and look for the next job. And often people say they can't leave because they don't have another job to go to, and obviously they have built their life on earning this kind of set level of income. And that's where it's really important not to be dependent on the money, because then you get tied into doing things that you don't love. So my view on that is that you really, if you're unhappy, you need to switch your mindset. You need to look for the positives. You need to sit down and think about all the things you can do within that time. How can you make the most out of that job? And we talked about it in the employability session too, when if you are making the most out of a job, like, I don't know, cleaning in a hotel or waitressing or whatever, and you don't feel like it's not really where your heart is, but the fact is you can still see positives in that. You can use that as learnings. You can listen to podcasts while you do it. You can educate yourself, you can up level. You need to do that within the job that you are currently in. You need to start looking for where you're going, and you need to realign with what you really want. You also need to take a look at your finances, and if there is a risk, you need to look at kind of reducing your expenditure each month back to budgeting. You have X amount coming in, you have, let's say, £2,000 a month coming in, and your outgoings at 1,800. You need to look at bringing those down, all right, so that you can take a pay cut and go to something that fills your heart on fire. Because you can always go and make more money in something else. You can take a job that you love and you can make more money on the side. You have to take control. And that's the thing that I think I've really realised, is that I've let money be a big object, a big concern. And when you have a business, like, obviously you have to make money, and instead of taking control of it, I have just kind of let it run me amok. I've let it mess up with my mindset. And you know, we are worthy, but we are only worthy of what we believe. And if you don't believe that you are worthy of being paid well or being treated well, then that's what you'll get. But if you're worthy of being rich, and you can do good with that rich, and remember, being rich isn't a negative, you have to change your mindset on that too. So your money mindset is so important, and there are mantras that you can do. You can do visualizations, you can listen to people, but it's really important you get that nailed down, because that will have a really big effect on your relationship with money. You need to build a really strong and a really positive relationship